Ladies and gents, this is Unbiased History, the Roman Republic. We saw the video, the Roman mythology and the Roman monarchy, and this is Roman Republic. This is the third video of the series. So far Rome was founded, and then Romans apparently enslaved people, plebs, made them work the farms, used the women as, breeding slaves, I guess, because of course that's what you would do. Why would you mate with somebody you like? You can just use them as cattle. If you want to, populate the town, just, keep them in chains and use them to breeding purposes, apparently. And then Sabine women apparently raped Romans, not the other way around. Obviously, since this is unbiased history, it must be true. So yeah, that's all things happened. And now this is the Roman Republic. Let's watch the video.
Welcome back, plebs. I'm glad to say that we'll finally talk about the Respublica, more specifically of the two great heroes of the early Republic. Just in case you need proof the great man history is correct. John Green. It was 509 BC and a map of the world looked like this. Then we have the Mediterranean and then Italy. At the heart of Latium we have Rome. Now the Respublica. Okay, the Republic. The center of the civilized and now democratic world. The further away you got from it, the shitter you got. Should be intuitive by now. I could go on and on over how the Republic worked. It's a work of art. But here's a summary. The man voted, women, kids, immigrants and slaves didn't. A man, the richer you were.
Non-voters. Imagine a society influenced by women, foreigners, ignorant youths and subhumans. Absolutely disgusting. You know what? I have an idea. Wait a second. Yeah, let's slow it down a bit.
The stronger your vote. The cursus honorum went from quaestors, aediles, praetors,
much
and consuls.
better.
Censors also existed, tribunes as well, and the Pontifex Maximus had the best name. Historia Civilis covers it all. Here we will focus not on the offices, but the enemies of the Republic. They fit into two groups. In more times, there were the barbarians, ancient enemies of civilization, rape, kill, destroy, we know them well by now. In peacetime, however, there were the plebs, Rome's lazy masses, always bitching at the patricians for the pettiest of reasons.
Can think of fight, would sell his mother for a sack of rotten wheat, won't spare a single day without complaining at work, blames society for his poverty instead of his lack of will and skill. Those filthy rich patricians and their ownership of the means of production. I love all this. This feels like some Roman, Roman royalty wrote all these things like damn plebs.
It wasn't enough that Publius and the others had freedom from the Tarquins. Barely a decade later, they were already committing mass treason, fucking off to the Sacred Mountain and refusing to enlist for Rome's defense. To appease those traitors, the patricians began to gradually grant the plebs more and more of a political voice. It would eventually destroy the Republic, but hey, what did you expect with plebs in charge? Despite these concessions, the plebs just kept bitching for more and more, neither satisfied or grateful. A patrician named Caeso had just about enough of it. As a descendant of the Albans Tullus had brought into Rome from Alba Longa, Caeso actively participated in not letting yet another city be ruined.
Yes, this is true, isn't it? All these plebs are the greedy assholes in the story, apparently. These Romans were all fine with giving away the money that plebs needed, but plebs were too greedy. I'm sure that is how it happened. I'm sure of it.
Actions triggered the revolt in the Capitoline Hill, which killed the consul of the year, Publicola, that is, Publicola's son. Such was the regard plebs held for Roman heroes. In his place, the Senate elected Caeso's father as suffect consul, Lucius Quintus Cincinnatus. I could go on forever about this man, but his story speaks for itself. As consul, Cincinnatus refused to give a single inch to the plebeian demands, ending his consulship and retiring to his small farm. The plebs, of course, refused to shut their mouths, abusing their newly acquired political powers to falsely frame Caeso with murder charges, whom exiled himself out of pure disgust.
Injustice,
as we'll see. And so the plebs went after his father, fining Cincinnatus for all the money he had, forcing him to live in a tiny little patch of dirt, which he did, with no complaints. Meanwhile, the barbarous Aequites tried to retake Tusculum from Rome, encircling the small consular army sent to fight them. In such times of need, the Senate Senate would temporarily elect dictators to solve the crisis. Elected as such, Cincinnatus accepted his duty, bore his toga, kissed his wife, went to Rome, drafted the plebs, crushed Rome's enemies, renounced the dictatorship, and went back to his farm, all in 2 weeks. Pretty based, if I might say. But it doesn't end there. Decades later, a wannabe tyrant began...
I'm surprised that in position like that, people actually renounce the dictatorship. Won't the people just get greedy, using that power to make sure he doesn't lose his power and just be dictator forever?
bribing the plebs for supporting his claim to be king. Also a common practice, which we will definitely see more of. To stop him, the Senate elected Cincinnatus dictator again, now 80 fucking years old. He accepted, bore his toga, kissed his wife, went to Rome, drafted the plebs, crushed Rome's enemies, renouncing the dictatorship and went back to his farm. But this time it took 3 weeks. He wasn't in his prime anymore. Few Roman heroes can compare to Cincinnatus in virtue, one of which happened to be born just a few decades later. With yet another pleb revolt crushed, the patricians could resume Rome's mission of spreading civilization, starting with Veii, long since a Roman enemy. To crush them once and for all, command of the Roman legions was granted to the greatest Roman general of the time, Marcus Furius Camillus. Now that's a clan name right there. Leading the war effort, Camillus defeated all of Veii's allies, laying siege to the city for years, breaching it and annihilating the population. Such is the fate reserved for Rome's rivals. It's fitting, then, that the victorious Roman soldiers received their first salary that day, Veii delenda est. Rome was now the undisputed leader of Latium, having subdued the entire Latin League years back. But defeating Veii posed the question of what to do with the lands and loot. Camillus refused to let the plebs take the hard-won earnings, much less allow them to infest Veii. Instead, he gifted much of the treasures and lands as tribute to the gods.
Damn, plebs, always unfair. Of course you're gonna give it to gods, why would you give it to plebs? Greedy assholes.
Choice. Not that religious duty was something that plebs respected, once more abusing their power to lay false charges on Camillus, forcing him into exile. In their rage, the gods sought to punish the plebs. Enter the Gauls, easily one of the most vile barbarian hordes, topped only by one. Having destroyed all of Central Europe, they began to invade the Etruscan-held Italy, a bastion of civilization compared to them. Yeah. They raised their way down south until the leader of the Senone tribe, Brennus, came in contact with Roman ambassadors. They asked him why he was destroying everything, only to accuse the Romans of doing the same. They explained that what they really did was to spread civilization, which triggered Brennus beyond belief, declaring war on them on the spot. The Senate saw this as a chance to
Civilization, that's the problem right there.
finally teach the plebs to fight on their own. The pleb legions met with the Gauls in battle and broke in seconds, fleeing to Veii, figures. With no army on the field, the patricians could only sigh as Gaul invaded the city, killing, raping, and burning everything on sight. Sounds familiar? It's hard to say who I blame most for this. Thankfully, the core of the city held firm, being manned by the patrician soldiers who stayed behind. Still in exile, Camillus was furious when he learned of the invasion, accepting the election as dictator and raising a new army. Meanwhile, unable to fully take the city, Brennus met with the senators, demanding them to pay him to leave, so that he could have an excuse to claim victory. But when a senator pointed out that the gold balance was rigged, Brennus laughed, saying, "Why rig this?" meaning, gives me that. It was then that Camillus arrived, his mere presence making the Gauls shit themselves. Once explained the situation, Camillus laughed, pulling out his massive dick, breaking the scale, and telling the barbarians to fuck off back to their mud huts. Brennus couldn't hold his greed anymore, trying to take the gold and run away, only to hear behind him, no one knows exactly what happened to the Gauls that day, only that they were all gone. It was a victory, but a costly one. The plebs wished to migrate to Veii, but Camillus shunned their laziness. The gods had appointed them with a divine mission, and in Rome was where it was to be undertaken. Personally leading the reconstruction effort, Camillus ensured Rome would not share in Troy's fate, becoming its second founder, and a hero forever. Alright, who's keeping tabs? I think Camillus has the new record. Stick around to see how long it lasts. But of course, the he stars in the audience already know how long it lasts. The next chapter will be all about the...
That is big though, man. Gauls came and fucked up everybody, and yet that guy just returned back and just massacred everybody. That is great, man. I thought, when I started this series, I thought, you know what, maybe it's going to be hard to, see what is exaggerated false and what is not. How am I going to understand this history? But yeah, it's kind of easier to understand what is false or not, obviously. The plebs part, how they're greedy and things like that, that all makes sense, man. This is really greatly put, and the way he creates it is just damn funny, man. I love this series. I thought it was just going to be a history, but no, this is just awesome, man. It's funny. Alright, if you like my reaction, please don't forget to like and subscribe.